Good afternoon. Welcome to the New York State Fair. My name is Chief Technical Sergeant Neil Case, and who's excited to watch the best underwater show here at the New York State Fair?
Yeah!
All right. Before we get started, I want to introduce the rest of my crew to you. Coming up behind the tank first is my training coordinator out of Albany, Tech Sergeant Josh Cross. Next up is the Troop D Assistant Senior Diver Trooper Jared Hogan. And last up behind that tank is your very own, the Troop D Senior Diver Tech Sergeant Greg Ebero. Let me introduce the host of your show, the Troop C Senior Diver Tech Sergeant Seth Little.
Yeah!
How are we doing today?
Great!
My name is Seth Little. I'm the Troop C Senior Diver. I'm going to be dropping some knowledge bombs on you today. So, first thing I'm going to do is give you a brief little history of the New York State Police Dive Team. But before that, kids, if you want to come up here, take a seat in front of the tank so you can see a little bit better when the divers get in the water. Come on up. Come on up. All right. Go ahead, under the ropes, over the ropes. Just don't trip on the ropes. All right. Get a front row seat. All right, while they are doing that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the New York State Police Dive Team. Our dive team, we had our first log dive in 1932. So that makes us the oldest, and we are also one of the largest public safety dive teams in the whole of the United States. New York State Police, right?
Yeah!
All right. So in 1932, we used hard helmets. We had canvas suits. We had lead belts, lead shoes. Altogether, the weight was well over 100 pounds. All right. But troopers, they did back then what they continue to do now. They used the equipment that they were issued. They got the job done. Now, in 1943, there was a smart fellow by the name of Jacques Cousteau. Jacques Cousteau invented the aqualung. All right. It's what we commonly refer to as scuba. All right. Do we know that scuba is an acronym? Those letters stand for something. Do we know what it stands for? Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. All right, that's what scuba stands for. And so what that did is it took the hundreds of pounds of equipment and it condensed it down to more like 40 pounds or so it made divers a little bit more nimbly in the water. All right, able to move around a little bit easier. Now, in 1952, the New York State Police, their dive team, sent some representatives to learn from the best with this new technology known as scuba. So we sent representatives down to the Navy Dive School. All right? They went to the Navy Dive School, they learned their lessons, they came back, they brought it to the New York State Police. In 1957, we decided to adopt scuba as our preferred method of dive. Now in the early 60s, we actually started our own novice dive school. It's anything but novice. In order to become a trooper, that's a hard enough test, all right? We get good people in there. But those good people have to try out for where these guys are. And the fact is that we are the hardest of the special operations schools. If you try out for our team, you are more than likely not going to make it. Only 1/3 do. So in order to get where these guys are, you gotta have some strong will and determination. Let's give them a hand. Good job, guys.
Looks like they're out ready to get in the water too, huh?
Yeah, it's warm outside. You want to get cooled down? All right, so we're going to get the divers in the water.
Before we do that, let's make it a little more difficult for them.
I think so. I think we should have them take their gear off and put it in the water.
Yeah, you guys can get dressed.
All right, you guys can get dressed underwater. All right, this is one of the things that you learn during the novice dive school. And the big thing is when they're doing this is you don't panic. All right, in order to get where these guys are, you gotta have a competitive spirit. So without saying that this is a race,
it's a race.
It's a race, all right? Everything's a competition, right? So we're gonna have a countdown. When I say go, can I get participation from you?
Yes!
Can I get participation from the audience?
Yes!
All right, so we're gonna count down from 3, 2, 1, and then we're gonna yell dive.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Hey guys, masked too.
Yeah, come on.
Trying to cheat?
Yeah, put your masks in there. All right, there they go. So let's start the countdown. Go! 3, 2, 1. Dive! All right, there they go. They're going to go down into is that they go for the air. All right, as soon as they get that air in their mouth, everything else is copacetic. They can take their time even though they're racing. And whoa! Blue racing stripes
We
there.
have a winner.
We do have a
You're right,
winner.
that wasn't a race.
That was, well, you know, to be honest, they're different suits, you know, different things. But look, Jared Hogan, the pride of Troop D, let's give him a hand. All right. So we're going to slow things down just a little bit. There's a tank that's on their back. That tank holds 3,000 pounds of air. It's compressed. All right? And so you cannot just breathe that. It comes out rather quickly. So you need a regulator. That regulator reduces the pounds down to 145 psi. All right? It takes it down the line, introduces it to their second stage, which provides them air on demand. That tank is also connected to a harness. That harness has black bladders on there. All right? So you can either introduce air into it, or there are dump valves that are on that harness where you can dump air out of it. This is how you will either make yourself positively buoyant coming up, negatively buoyant going down, or what they're doing right now is they are neutrally buoyant. They're just static. It's like they're in space. All right, the suits that they have, we have the racing stripes there. Racing stripes got a wetsuit. The wetsuit introduces a little water between the suit and the skin. The friction warms it up. All right, you can stay fairly warm during moderate temperatures in the water. And then we have Josh Cross in there who's got a dry suit. That dry suit actually does keep him dry. Yes, all right, but because it keeps him dry, you also have to have some sort of thermal protection because water, unless it's over 98 degrees, you're eventually going to get cold, all right? So, they have fins that propel them as they are neutrally buoyant very easily. They also have a mask. That mask, that just is a little bit offset from their face. It comes out just a little bit. When you look through that lens, things actually seem 33% larger and 25% closer, all right? But how did they get the water out of their mask? Well, they're going to show you. So guys, go ahead, take your masks off. All right, so now water's been introduced. Sometimes things happen. Masks can fall off. You don't panic. Panic is what kills divers. What they will do is they'll put their mask back on. They'll create a little crack between the bottom of the seal and their upper lip, and they will blow the air out of their nose. Now when they do that, the air, where does it go? It goes up, right? So what goes up? It goes up into the mask. It pushes the water out. They're able to recreate the seal and then go about their merry way. All right, so by the time we graduate the school, we are diving to depths of 132 feet, okay? And you might ask me, what does 132 feet look like?
What is 136 feet?
What's 132 feet look like?
All right, you might ask me all together, what does 132 feet look like?
What is it?
Oh, it makes me want to cry, it's beautiful. All right, so, if you look at the top of this tower here where these sort guys jump off of, this is 60 feet tall, all right? Add another tower on top of that, that's another 60 feet, all right, 120 feet. Add another 12 feet, that's 132. That's a tall glass of water, all right? So, things can happen at those depths to our equipment. Pressures can affect things. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to simulate what would happen if it affected our regulator. All right, the first thing you never do at those depths is you never dive alone. You always have a dive buddy. The second thing is you always keep track of each other, and right now Josh Cross is going to give a signal of, hey, I'm having an issue. He's saying I'm out of air. So Jared Hogan takes his air and he puts it in his buddy's mouth, all right? He keeps control of that air because he's not panicking, he has it. So then he puts on his safety second air, and then they will ascend at a safe rate of 30 feet per minute up to the top. Once they get up to the top, we'll try and figure out what happened, and then go for another dive, or else abort the dive altogether, go home. All right, so well done. Now, that is some of the things that we do in the novice dive school. All right, and some of the equipment that you learned about. Now I want to talk to you about our bread and butter. Our name is URT. We are the Underwater Recovery Team. If it is in there, our motto is, we will find it. If you look up at the screen right there, that is our symbol, the octopus. That octopus, as it moves over the floor of the ocean, it touches everything. All right, it gets into cracks, it gets into crevices. And so when we say that we've been in the water and we have searched the area, it means that we have searched every square inch of that area. We have tried and true methods in order to do that. One of those methods is a line search. It has a couple variations. Now I'm going to need a volunteer from the audience over here as far as who wants to be volunteer with the line search. All right, red hat right in front there. Go ahead, come on over. All right. You can wear your red hat, it's okay. Come on over this way. No, you got it, you got it. All right. All right, so what's your name? Derek. All right, so Derek, come on over here. I want you to stand right here, and I want you to hold this line nice and tight. Okay? So, this is a line search. This is called a pendulum search. This is something that we would use if we had a known body of water. Let's say we were looking for a lost diver, okay? Or something large in the water. This is something that we could basically deploy quickly. So, Derek, you are my land-based operations specialist. And you know what you need for that? You need to put your hat on your head. All right, very good. Now I know you're ready. You mean business. And so, Derek and I are going to communicate together. All right, I am the diver. He's the land-based operator, so we're going to communicate by line pulls. I'm in the water, he's on the land. So he's going to give me a couple tugs on that line. Go ahead, Derek. Real strong, come on. There you go. All right. So now he gives me a couple tugs. I give him a couple tugs so that he knows that I know that he knows that I'm ready to go.
We all know.
Okay, all right. So now we all know that. I'm going to start my dive, Derek. You're going to keep real tight hold of that line right there, okay? That's your job. And I'm swimming. I'm pendulum. I can't see anything. So this diver is just right outside of my reach, okay? But Derek sees that I'm coming up to an area here where I'm going to have to turn around. So he gives me a couple line tugs. Go ahead, Derek. I didn't even have to look at him. I know he's tugging. So I turn around just like this. Good job. And then I give him a couple tugs back, and now he's going to give me some more line. Hold tight now. Hold tight right there. And as he does that, I'm going to swim the other way. And here I go. And here's the lost diver. And we find him. Give Derek a hand. Good job, Derek. All right. Good job, buddy. There's a little prize box right over there. So that is a pendulum line search. Now we're going to have the diver in the water show us what a jack stay line search is. And what that means is there are two heavy weights that connect a line, and you're going to separate those heavy weights in order to create tension on that line. That diver then will move back and forth on that line just like he would on a regular grid search. Oh, he's down there.
Yeah, before we get started on that, let's have him put on that training mask.
Training mask, and also we're going to need some evidence, I think. Greg, Big E, you're up there. Oh, service revolver. All right, old school. I like it. All right. So he's got his training mask, and what that means is he can't see. He can't even see what came down there. And the reason is because when we dive in water like this. And so when we train the guys in the novice school, we tape off their masks. You might as well close your eyes because most of the water that you're in, you cannot see. And so he's starting his search. He's got one hand on the line and he is touching everything, just like an octopus, right? And so as he's going to the weight, he moves the weight over a little bit, he turns around, comes back, he's searching some same ground, but he's also covering new. That's all right. It's good to be detailed. And let's see if he finds it. He found what he was looking for. All right. Pride of Troop D. All right. So now, I'm going to need another volunteer here. Okay, right over here with the, is that an F and an F? All right. Come on over. Come on over. All right. So, what would we do if the evidence isn't right on top of what we're looking for, okay? And a lot of times we're doing cold cases, might be muck involved, a couple inches or so you want to be able to find what you're looking for. So, you know what this is? No, what's your name? Elizabeth, this is a metal detector, all right? And I'm going to need you to take your hands out of your pocket so that you can hold on to this, all right? So, feel that? All right? It's not going to detect yours, you know why? because you don't have 30 years of marriage right there. All right? So, but what you can do is we know that there's something in here, and we're going to pretend that there's a jack stay line going over. So you're just going to step right over here to the side, and you're going to go back and forth nice and slow. And you're going to be methodical. You're going to make sure that you're hitting everything. And all of a sudden, oh, you feel that? That means there's something in there. How are we going to get that out? What do you mean we can't? I mean, I'm not putting my hands in there, but your job is to put your hands in there and get whatever that is. All right, so go ahead, right in there. There you go. Keep going. There's something there. I know we found, and there it is. What is that? It's a phone. All right, let's give her a hand. She found a key piece of evidence in the crime. All right, so if you want to go over and go ahead and take yourself, get yourself a little prize out of it. All right. So, those are some of the old school methods that we use, and they're still legitimate today. All right, we use them a lot. But nowadays, we also have some new technology. We have an underwater robot. All right. This underwater robot allows us to go into the water. Maybe there's an overhead environment, some ice or some ship or something like that you might want to go in, that maybe you don't want to put a diver in there for first things. So we will send a robot into the water. All right, and what you see up there on the screen is the camera of that robot. It allows us to see what we're looking at. And so my boss over there, Chief Tech, he is going to find a stolen four-wheeler, all right? And when he finds that stolen four-wheeler, the good news is, with all of this new technology that's coming out, all right, across every aspect of life, we still need people, right?
Yes!
You guys don't sound too positive on people. We need people, right?
Yes!
All right! I'm a people, I want to be wanted. All right, so, I know, exactly. All right, so, we have up there one of the best people I know who can accomplish this job of getting that four-wheeler out of the water. So that is Greg Eberl, Pride of Troop D. He is going to jump in the water with a surface supplied air system. That means that we can give him endless amounts of air from the surface. And he has reached the bottom. Give him a hand. It might look easy, but it takes some doing. Wait, Greg, you're not done yet, man. It looked great, all right? But now you got to get that four-wheeler out of the water. So how are you going to do that? All right, well, he's going to go over, he's going to try and figure it out. So he's following the robot over. All right, there he is. I see him moving the robot, and yeah, he's taking a little selfie. Yeah, we love you, Greg. All right, good job. So now he's over at the four-wheeler. Wow, that four-wheeler looks pretty heavy, Greg. How are you going to get that out of there? He's not sure. Wait, he's got an idea. Oh, he's got a lift bag in there. And so he's going to attach that lift bag to the four-wheeler. Now, because he has surface supply air, what he will do is he will give us some sort of notification that he wants bubbles. We have a line going down to him, which we will send those bubbles. And as we send those bubbles, that's right, keep hitting it hard like the Fonz, right? Eventually it'll work. All right, so he puts that line in that bag. That airbag will expand, the lift bag, and it will become positively buoyant. And whatever it is attached to, as long as it has good strong line and straps, that will go up with the bag. So there it goes. He gets out of the way in case something bad happens, and he gets it done. Look at him. Look at that hang time. Flawless victory. All right. Good job, Greg. All right, so those are some of the things that we do. It's been fun showing you, but the fact is that every time we go in the water, it's dangerous. And not only do we do that, but we also have swift water rescue that's attached to what we do. And we have ropes and we have rigging. And I got the Chief Tech here who wants to give us a little...
A little what?
I don't know. A little spiel.
That's all. Just a minute here. Just want to take a moment to recognize these guys for what they do. Every single time they go into the water, they're putting their lives on the line to either recover lost ones that have drowned or to recover evidence to close out cases. So if you could please all join me in thanking them for what they do every day.
Thank you. All right. Listen, if you want your kids to have a picture with a diver in there, we have one of the best posers in the New York State Police in that tank right now, all right? If you want a face like his, you gotta be born with it, all right? If you want shirts like the boss and I have, you can buy these over at the tent at NYST tent, all right? They support us. We would appreciate it if you support them. There's also some nice New York State Police swag over at the Trooper Foundation. Again, same thing. They help support us. We appreciate you supporting them. Other than that, if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. The dog show is going to be coming up next. Have a great day at the New York State Fair. Thank you.